This morning's guest is here to talk about the Oral Longevity Project, and he's got the teeth to do it. He's been practicing dentistry for 57 years. Meet Dr. Baxter Sapp, Jr., coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the E. Craig Walls Senior College of Business Administration on the campus of Coastal Carolina University. We're focused on the Oral Longevity Project in part 2 of Dr. Baxter Sapp. Good morning, Dr. Sapp.
I'm glad to be back.
Thanks so much for coming back, and I'm so glad you wore those pins again that you wore last week on the interview.
Yeah.
Those fantastic pins, and of course, just getting you back. I know you obviously were in town a couple of weeks ago for the North Carolina Dental Society's annual convention there at the Kingston Plantation. Last week, obviously, your birthday last Monday, and then getting in with us here last Tuesday, and then to get you back to really make sure we drill in on the Oral Longevity Project, the campaign.
We had a great program last week, exploring new frontiers in dentistry and dentistry changes from year to year as all scientific programs do.
Well, of course, for viewers who weren't with us last Tuesday when you were here talking about that conference the week before, or even talking about yourself a little bit, just real quick, a little plot summary on you. Are you originally from the area?
Oh, yeah, I'm really originally from Durham and was reared in Raleigh.
Okay, sure. So up in the Tar Heel State.
I'm Tar Heel.
A lot of our viewers are up in the Tar Heel State, and Robinson and Scotland, of course, Columbus and Brunswick County. So it's great to get some Tar Heels down every once in a while. And, of course,
we're glad to be here.
Tar Heel colors here. That's right. That's right. And of course, I think you had your son with you, who also practices with you, when you were here a couple weeks ago for the convention.
Yeah, the last 18 years we've been together.
Is that right?
And we built an office in that period of time, and that's a wonderful thing. To every morning and every day you get up, you go and interact with your son in the care of your patients. And we work well together, and we've always worked together. And it makes life so enjoyable to be able to, at this stage of my life, to continue to go in and enjoy my patients and enjoy my staff and enjoy my son. And we're looking forward to having my daughter in there, not too distant.
Right, yes. You and Elsie have 3 children.
3 children.
One of them who's not in the dental profession.
He is the businessman.
He's the businessman. That's great. He is the third, Baxter the third.
He's Baxter the third, right.
That's great. That's great. And of course, Miranda, your only daughter, is now in dental hygiene.
She is starting this year for a 2-year program.
How exciting. What do you think it was for her? I guess just seeing her dad and her brother into it, her brother for the last 18 years, and her father for, you shared with us last Tuesday, 57 years of dentistry. So seeing her dad her entire life practicing the dental profession, you think that's what spurred her into getting into it?
Well, she's a very talented person, and she's been a teacher. She's an artist, a very talented artist.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I'm glad that she's decided to go into the dental profession, because those skills that she has in being a talented artist can certainly be useful to her in dentistry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Many of your staff, you've got some staffers that have been with you probably as long as Macon has, if not longer, don't you? I mean, you've got some folks.
My dental assistant has been with me for 24 years.
Is that right? Wow, Baxter. Dr. Sapp, excuse me, I want to call you Baxter because it's such a sweet name here on a Tuesday morning, and of course the thrill of knowing of your practice for more than 50 years and almost 60 years is incredible. It's what makes your volunteer service here with the Oral Longevity Campaign even that much more special. Share with viewers exactly what we're talking about, the Oral Longevity Initiative, project, campaign.
The Oral Longevity Program is a multifaceted program which addresses the needs, the oral health care needs of our growing adult population. It was made possible by a generous grant from GlaxoSmithKline, the ADA, the ADA Foundation, and they have produced this wonderful program of education and innovative programs to allow elderly people to maintain and stay in good oral health.
Right.
And this program, it being a campaign, it's something that is ongoing, and it's new, and we are hoping that we can get a commitment from the members of the American Dental Association,
right.
the dental industry,
right.
which is a business part of of our profession, and also the retirement people and volunteers to participate in this campaign.
Yes.
Which is not designed to do dentistry, because there are other programs that we have. There's a program that we have just finished by the North Carolina Dental Society, in which one weekend we treated the 70 some odd dentists and 70 chairs, treated 1,000 patients who had multiple dental problems.
No.
And they did, I think it was over $250,000 worth of dentistry.
Oh, come on.
For no charge whatsoever. And people just came in, they lined up, and they were there, and the dentists were there, and the volunteers were there, and we're hoping maybe to do that again in the not too distant future. It was designed and carried on by a Dr. Ed Slott from Burlington,
Is
North
that
Carolina.
right?
Yeah.
And that's where the many dentists got together there in Alamance County.
And we're, through the auspices of a lot of agencies, including Blue Cross Blue Shield,
Great.
The North Carolina Insurance Commission,
Sure.
and the individuals that work with this were giving money, and it was a substantial amount of money that made that possible, so that these people get service, and we hope to do that again.
That's tremendous. Well, of course, the North Carolina Dental Society has been coming down here year after year. They come to Kingston Plantation annually around this time of the year.
We used to go to Pinehurst.
Right.
Years and years ago. I can remember, some of the great meetings we had there, but the society has grown tremendously. We have 4,500 dentists.
Is that
who are
right?
members of the North Carolina Dental Society.
No.
And there's nothing in Pinehurst will accommodate us. And so, we come to Myrtle Beach.
We love it.
And everybody loves going to Myrtle Beach, and we have a fantastic response to the program and a wonderful attendance.
Well, I think you said the Exploring New Frontiers in Dentistry was the theme a couple of weeks ago when you all were down.
Yeah.
I think you shared with us off camera after the interview last Tuesday that when you were president of the North Carolina Dental Society a number of years ago, you all actually had a similar theme of New Frontiers in Dentistry. What year would that have been?
It was
2030?
That would have been back in the 50s, late
in the
50s.
50s.
Late 50s. And we were talking about New Frontiers in dentistry then, because we could see that the dental profession was changing at a very rapid rate.
Well, I loved so much as you provided some of the great information for us to get ready for last week's interview, carrying over into this week. And of course, one of the ways we wrapped up last week's interview, if you remember, was that great quote of one of the shared goals of all humanity is to grow old with dignity. One of the shared goals of all humanity. In the same way, in growing old with dignity, a lot of dentists are making sure that folks understand this great causal connection between their own dental health, oral health, and their overall health, and why it's so important. I loved so much reading this quote from Dr. Barkley, which was provided in the book you shared with us last week, and I know we'll want to share again today, that idea that dental health is peculiar. I'm just going to read real quick. The rich cannot buy it. The poor cannot have it given to them. Dentistry can make people more comfortable, more functional, and more attractive, but it cannot make them healthy. They can be taught to become healthy, but whether they remain that way is up to them. And the way you summed it up here was great. In other words, people in today's world must assume much responsibility for their health and well-being. And it really drives home the point that folks who are in a position where they may not be able to take care of themselves, they need to either ask or get support from family members.
Get some support from somewhere.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that has taken place with the skills of daily mouth care that the the Alliance of the North Carolina Dental Society developed.
Right.
See, the DVD, the 45-minute DVD sponsored by the American Dental Association, their foundation, GlaxoSmithKline,
right,
is more of a teaching aid. It tells what happens and what can happen to you. It's an educational program that you can find out all the things that you need to know about the relationship between dental health
right,
and general health. This program,
yes,
the Skills of
Daily
Mouth Care, which was done by the Alliance of the North Carolina Dental Society, is a program that you can take into a nursing home or into a retirement home and have their caregivers be able to know exactly how to do this, even with a comatose patient.
Even with a comatose patient.
That's the way it's designed.
Wow.
And it's beautifully and well done.
Right.
And of course, these two become tools. And what we have got to learn to do is implement the tools in an effective manner so it'll work to do what they're intended to do.
Another great piece was this special supplement. On
Yeah.
top of that 45-minute DVD, which you got back in September, was this great supplement for caregivers, this 56-page supplement. Of course, GlaxoSmithKline, their consumer health care division, helped put this out along with the American Dental Association and their foundation. It's amazing to think about this really caring collaboration. You obviously had to get 3 great groups like that, but without volunteers, dentists who are willing to go out there and give some time to hook up with the retirement communities or nursing homes to really make it impactful, it wouldn't happen. You've got to have volunteers like yourself, and I know, of course, it was highlighted that both you and your son, Dr. Baxter Sapp, are working hard to really get out there, but I think it's great to see you, particularly with 57 years of dentistry, you connect so much more easily with the communities there, because oftentimes there's folks, I hate to say it, but we celebrated, I think you said, your 83rd birthday last
So I'm
Monday.
one of the older people.
I didn't say it. I didn't
That's
say
all right,
it.
I have to admit it.
We'll let it out. We'll let it out. Of course, my father's, having just celebrated his 80th birthday, a lot of folks really need to take the time to communicate with the older population. Y'all are both doing that. I'm sorry, I just wanted to get to the point that what can folks do? What can our viewers do to get involved with the Oral Longevity Project?
Well, they could go to this website that you just gave a few minutes ago.
orallongevity.ada.org.
And they can actually write the American Dental Association at
Right.
211 East Chicago Avenue in Chicago, Illinois.
20611.
20611.
Great.
And I would suggest that they not try to call the American Dental Association, because they are so busy that it would be a difficult thing, and I don't think they would be well served by doing that. And the best thing, perhaps, is to talk to your dentist.
Call your own
that.
dentist, yes.
And ask him for some help, and he is going to be very available to help you in many ways, because there are many websites that they could go to and get any information they want on diet, and how to take care of their health, dental health, day to day. And I think there are about 7 websites that you can get, and it would be very difficult to give that here on the program.
Fine. Your son had mentioned a couple of weeks ago when y'all were in town for the conference that DurhamDentist.com even had links. Your own firm's dental website had links to the ADA's Longevity Project. So if folks wanted to visit a site like that, or just going to ada.org and searching for oral longevity, or that simple orallongevity.ada.org. There's great info there. But a lot of folks obviously don't have access to computers, so they just need to call their own dentist.
That's the easiest way to accomplish this.
And
whatever they do, whenever they call their own dentist, that's good to let the dentist know that they are concerned about this. Because the dentist becomes very responsive when he hears that type of initiative.
Yes, I bet. And you would, obviously, if one of your patients called and said, Dr. Baxter Sapp, have you ever heard of the Oral Longevity Project? Of course, we know what your answer would be, but I bet of those 4,500 dentists that were down here just from North Carolina dentists down here a couple of weeks ago, there's probably quite a few of them that may not be familiar with the Oral Longevity Project.
We have talked to a few. We've run into it. They were not, aware of it.
Right.
And as a result, it's so interesting. We get so much mail.
Oh, yeah.
We get so much mail, third-class mail, day in and day out, and you can't go through all of it.
Right.
And sometimes the very thing that you need to see, like that DVD that came from GlaxoSmithKline and
Sure.
the ADA, I looked at it and almost threw it away. But I thought,
Right.
gee whiz, GlaxoSmithKline,
Yeah.
is involved in this.
Right.
One of my neighbors down the street and a drug company here in Durham, North Carolina, I had to see that.
One of your neighbors down the street was the chairman of GSK.
That's right.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's right, Charlie Sanders.
And so as a result, when I looked at it, I was just amazed at what I saw. It was the best thing I'd ever seen
Right.
in promoting and instructing what good general health
Right.
and oral health were all about.
Well, let's break down the mechanics. How's it actually going to work? If someone like yourself, I think you said after a friend of yours had seen the piece in the September issue of the ADA's monthly publication, and they saw that you were involved. Share, and of course, a lot of viewers heard the story last Tuesday when you were with us about obviously how you got involved. The American Dental Association contacted you saying, "Will you be a front person for us on a volunteer basis there in North Carolina?"
I really haven't had a request
Okay.
to do anything, but knowing what this program was all about and having been in healthcare for 57 years, it was an opportunity. And sometimes opportunities come along disguised as work.
Right.
And I couldn't help but jump on top of this, and because I knew that the people who had worked to develop it,
Right.
I had known for years. And as a result, I just felt like I needed to embrace it.
Yes.
Because it meant something great for this elderly population, which seems to be growing by leaps and bounds.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's nice being able to grow old and eliminate some of the severe geriatric programs.
Right.
I mean, processes which take place.
Let's just go through the mechanics there. If I know you haven't yet done it, but if you're going in to see a retirement home, and what is going to happen there? Just how does the oral longevity campaign? How is the 3-year process going to work itself out? Is it essentially actually getting in there? I saw some pictures from the ADA's website of some practitioners in there. There's a shot of a practitioner with her assistant, a dentist, and her assistant. They're surrounding an elderly person and getting into the retirement community that's let them in on their own to come in and make a difference on behalf of their clients.
Well, let me tell you what I've done, because I have no model to go by.
Sure.
And so I decided that the way to do this was to go to the associations who were in charge of the retirement programs.
Right.
And we have 2,000 retirement facilities in North Carolina. That's a lot. And so what I have done is I have gone to the directors, one of which is the North Carolina Assisted Living Association.
Right.
And the other one is the North Carolina Healthcare Facilities Association.
Right.
And I've met with them, and they are individuals who are in contact and work with most all of the healthcare facilities. Now, in doing so is that I have received the support from them to help me in whatever manner was necessary to talk with the healthcare facilities.
Right.
And so as it is right now, I have one facility that is in Durham, Springmore, which has consented to allow us to come in.
Right.
The question is, what are we going to do? What I'm doing is I'm trying to get 3 or 4 facilities who will volunteer to be pilot programs.
Great.
And if you get a pilot program and you've just got a few programs involved, then your communication system is so much better off. It's like doing research to understand what is going to make this work.
Right.
And will it work? And I'm convinced it can work. All we've got to do is just find that little avenue that makes everybody comfortable. The facility, the patient, and the caregiver.
Yes.
Of doing what is necessary to make these people healthy.
You had shared with us last Tuesday if a viewer out here is one of our viewers is in a retirement community or in a nursing home, instead of talking to the administrators of the home, talk to their family member or talk to a loved one about can you get in touch with our administration and possibly let some dentists in to help us out here, because you all are doing this on a volunteer basis entirely.
That's right.
The push there is to get in and let them know about the connection between oral health and their overall health, and possibly furthering their lives as their oral health stays strong.
You know, the retirement communities, you know, different types, continuing care programs in which a lot of the people are independent. They get in their car, drive around, they travel, but they have this facility that they stay in because as they age and they get disabled in some way, then they have a place to go for someone to take care of them when they really get physically compromised. Many times you have to have that relationship with a healthcare facility so that you can have a place to go. If you get very, very sick and you get disabled, then about the only way in the world you can get in a facility is to call the emergency room at a hospital, and they will come out and take you to the hospital, and then they will find a place for you to go. But they usually find a place you may not like.
Right. So important. So important there. You know, we've just got a couple of minutes, Dr. Sapp, and obviously we're encouraging viewers to either call their dentist, to go online to orallongevity.ada.org, or to write, like you said, to the address there in Chicago at the 20611, the address of the American Dental Association. You know, for you, as you think back, was it that experience either growing up being there at Chapel Hill and the hitchhiking event where you talked to a woman, obviously, who said, as you shared with us last week, if you ever get into dentistry, make sure and let us know. Did you ever imagine back then in your late teens or early 20s that you'd be sitting anywhere 60 years later and highlighting or thinking back on your 57 years of dental practice?
I had no earthly idea about that.
No.
You know, one of the things that I found in a Harvard study, and that your genetic background is only responsible for about 25 or 35% of your longevity and also your physiological function. So individuals who are looking at their parents and see that they maybe had a poor lifestyle and weren't very healthy and had a short lifespan have cause to be concerned. But if your parents had a long lifespan and they had a good lifestyle and they weren't subject to many of the geriatric problems that occur whenever they got older, then they can be somewhat confident, but not overconfident, because really in the geriatric equation is the genes are only 40%. So they need to really take care of their lifestyle, and if you pick up any magazine, it's all about health.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dr. Sapp, you know, you think for yourself, having been there in private practice in '71, but having been before that at Duke for almost 2 decades, you know, as you think about some of the patients that have been with you, can you ever even imagine not practicing or not actively practicing on many of those patients? Just imagine being out of the office. Can you imagine being out of the office, what I'm trying to say?
I can't conceive of myself walking out the door and not coming back. And because I have such a great relationship with my patients,
Right.
as most dentists are.
Yeah.
And I think dentists have a special way of making the relationship with a patient special.
Right.
And so many patients are very, very dedicated to their dentists and support them. They find that they give them the type of service that they're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know a Myrtle Beach area resident that drives to the Triangle on a quarterly basis to see their dentist there in Durham. So folks do get that.
That's right.
That symbiotic relationship. I'm sorry, we've run out of time.
Good.
Again, Dr. Sapp, last Tuesday here at Coastal Carolina University. Again, today, we're thrilled to get you back in. We wanted to go over those gorgeous pins you've got there on your lapel, the lapel pins, but we'll have to do that the next time we see you.
I hope to get back and see you again.
Let's pray so. Stay tuned to a little more of Dr. Baxter Sapp Jr. coming up next. Think about that hitchhiking experience as a teenager. Wasn't that thrilling hearing him share that? And to think that turned into a patient that he served for 4 generations. He shared with us a couple of weeks ago about another patient. His family served for 4 generations and continues to serve. That impact, when we think about older Americans, by 2030 doubling what they are today to 71 million, and by 2050, 1 out of every 5 adults being over age 65. He wouldn't have imagined it 20 years ago when he was the president of the International College of Dentists to be celebrating a long career. He continues to celebrate that career, but it's this volunteer efforts with the Oral Longevity Campaign that makes a difference in his life right now and continues to help him tick. Dr. Baxter Sapp, thanks for everything you do.
And I thank you for the opportunity to do this.
Absolutely.
Okay.